A new day dawns in Tennessee as Donald J. Trump takes the presidency yet again, and Republicans gain control of the Senate and soon to be House. It is Brandon Lewis here with the Tennessee Conservative News. We've got big headlines, but before we get into them, I cannot wait to see what this newly equipped team is going to do under Trump with folks like Elon Musk, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., and a host of folks that have moved over in this broad coalition to bring transparency to government, to finally close the border, to deport the lawbreakers, and to finally clean house with all of the corruption that's in Washington, the weaponization, etc. And so it was a fantastic evening on Tuesday. I woke up the happiest man in the world because for my birthday, which was just a day before, I woke up. It was better than Christmas to have Donald J. Trump as my president. I hope you share in that joy, and I hope that now that we have somebody with some real guts that'll do truly conservative and revolutionary things, that maybe some of that courage will rub off on the rhinos who lead the Republican Party in Tennessee presently, who have, for whatever reason, failed to address illegal immigration at the state level. If they could perhaps look to the example of the commander in chief, they may get just enough moxie to make something happen. And in fact, we are going to have a special series looking into this because there is going to be lots of conservative legislation introduced to stop illegal immigration at the state level. And as I've told many of the lawmakers, I was texting with state senators and state reps across the state yesterday. I said, hey, listen, bring the bills. Bring the bills, and if the rhinos want to kill them in committee, just like they have done for the last 4 years, we will hang those votes around their neck in the next primary. And those votes are very useful, very effective wedge issues in primaries because as soon as you tell someone at the door or in the mailbox or on social media that someone has voted against banning the mass transportation, someone has voted for giving illegal immigrants free education, someone has voted against bills that would cut off the magnets of benefits and employment, folks don't like it. So whether the bills pass or whether the bills lose, at least we can find a silver lining to the black cloud of rhino leadership that still hangs over state government in Tennessee. Let's get into these stories. New faces in store for the 114th General Assembly. Bradley County High School students told to remove Trump flag from his truck, and this is what happens. A rash of illegal alien crimes went down last week in Tennessee. We've also got a Satanic Temple. I can't believe this is happening in Tennessee. Prepares launch of Hellion Academy of Independent Learning in Bristol, Tennessee. I don't know if there's anything you folks in Bristol can do about this, but boy, I'd be trying to do something about it. Unicoi and Washington County property owners ambushed with notice of condemnation in wake of hurricane devastation. This is a sad story. East Tennessee middle school principal denies students use of lockers. Taxpayers and parents not amused. And finally, schools in Clarksville and Montgomery are following Wilson County in taking out all the trash that is inside the libraries. Guys, if you are not on the newsletter list for Tennessee Conservative, which is the state's largest conservative news alternative, please do go to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/subscribe or hit that subscribe button. You may also text the word news, NEWS, to 423-205-5600, and we will get you on the list. Now, you can also follow us on Gab, Getter, Truth, Me, We, and Rumble, something like that. And we will bring you the news there, and especially on X/Twitter. I was just so appreciative of what Elon Musk has done in the fight for free speech. People like Phil Williams are losing their collective minds because people can actually speak their minds without censorship online. And if there's one thing a Democrat, socialist, commie hates, that's you and me being able to express our opinions. It angers them because they have for so long been able to shut up voices. But you know what? Censorship is alive and well in Tennessee. We saw it with the incumbent protection bill passed by Republicans. We see it with the campaign finance and election committee that constantly harasses and is being weaponized. So just as you look in Washington, you think, okay, this corruption is just a federal level thing. It is alive and well in the state of Tennessee. Now, Two other things, or one other thing, I would like to thank all of you for sending in your heartfelt letters and cards to Mr. Jason Vaughn in the wake of his mother passing. We missed the day of news, but that was about it. And I have kitted those puppies up in a very large envelope. The stack was about this big, and I mailed them to Jason Vaughn along with your emailed comments, hoping that will buoy his spirits. And still do be praying for Jason that the Lord would guide him and his family through this difficult time. He is the backbone of the Tennessee Conservative. He's behind the scenes. That's how he likes to stay. But we couldn't do it without him. So thank you very much, Mr. Vaughn. We love you. And I hope that those words of encouragement reach you through the United States Postal Service very quickly. We're going to have to go through these stories quick because I've got a 2 p.m. interview here with a business consulting outfit talking about client reactivation and retention, which is one of the ways I make my money because I don't do it here at the Tennessee Conservative. First story, new faces in store for the 114th Tennessee General Assembly after record turnout in several counties across the state. We have conservative endorsed candidates like Michelle Renault replacing rhinos like Patsy Hazelwood. Some other new faces that we will see are Tom Hatcher, Bobby Harshberger, and Jesse Seal. I hated to see Frank Nicely go. I hope that Bobby, and I assume he will be, I did support him, will be better than Lundberg, who was a terrible rhino through and through. I was glad to see him get the old heave-ho. Tom Hatcher, I don't know as well. We'll see what happens there. We also have District 12's Fred Ashley, Tom Stennett, and Lee Reeves, and Aaron Mayberry. And Lee Reeves, I did not support him because I didn't know as much about him as one of the other candidates. But I have heard through the grapevine that perhaps, and if this is so, I would love to meet you, Mr. Reeves, is going to introduce some legislation that might curb illegal immigration in the volunteer state. I'm all for it. I'm all for it. I'm all for anyone who will do anything about this issue. And Shondell Brooks, unfortunately, won over opponent Chad Bobo. That is, I think that's Norman's cousin. And in the federal level, we know what happened with Trump. And he took 64.31% of the vote in Tennessee. And we hope that those numbers will only go up. Next story, Bradley County High School student told to remove Trump flag from his truck. A Bradley County student says his First Amendment rights were violated when he was told to remove a Trump flag from his vehicle in the parking lot. Jordan Zachman says he was sent to the office and was told that he couldn't display the flag because it was, quote, offending people, which I find very odd because Bradley County almost always vies in Tennessee for being the most Republican county. It was probably more likely that the principal of Bradley County High School is a liberal. And the offense was probably his and the liberal teachers, which often police and populate our schools for speech. Zachman said, quote, voice your opinion however you want. No school, no community can stop the First Amendment, right? Hear, Zachman. And according to Attorney Robin Flores, they can restrict speech, but it has to be justified by significant interests such as preventing disruption or protecting rights of others, and it has to be content neutral. And so the wonderful thing is that the first day he showed up, and they said he couldn't have his flag on his truck. And then the next day, the students gave the government schools a middle finger, and they all showed up with their Trump flags in solidarity, which is how you stick it to the man. And I'd like to see more of that, in fact. All right, next story. Rash of illegal alien crimes went down last week in Tennessee. Imagine that. Every week we report on this stuff while the General Assembly twiddles its thumbs and does absolutely nothing about it. Every week, Tennesseans are hurt, killed, maimed, raped, etc. We do nothing about it. In fact, we make it worse by allowing it to continue. On October 30th in Davidson County, Javier Gomez Hidalgo was brought up on charges of vandalism, theft, DUI, leaving the scene of an accident, driving without a license. He has multiple charges over the past year, including aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, vandalism, unlawful use of drug paraphernalia. On that same date, Honorable Jose Diaz Cabeza was arrested for aggravated burglary, aggravated assault, and assault with bodily injury on October 31st. Boy, you can't go a day, can you? Alfredo Bartolo Diego was arrested and charged with statutory rape, especially aggravated sexual exploitation of a minor and sexual exploitation of a minor. Also on October 31st in Knox County, Zhen Liang Lin was arrested for computer offenses between 10,000 and 60,000 in fraudulent uses of debit cards and credit cards of the same amount on November 2nd in Knox County. Jefferson Aguilar was arrested for DUI and possession of a handgun while under the influence. And so all have immigration detainer holds, which apparently don't work. That's one we got to cut off the magnets. In a related story, the 8 migrant workers who were initially arrested on suspicion of looting a flood-ravaged area of Washington County appeared on court Monday, where a judge dismissed all charges against them. That sounds like justice. The court decided that there was no proof that anything had been taken specifically, and they're not trespassing, as the owner had directed them to visit his property. Who knows? Somebody might know more about that story. You can email Jason. Guys, listen. We need some financial support. Let me tell you why. I recently got off the phone with somebody who was instrumental in helping in the Michelle Renault campaign, a gentleman that is very smart, very savvy, and we're going to attempt a text message campaign to build our subscriber base heading into the General Assembly in January. We want to add, if we can, 10,000 subscribers to the Tennessee Conservative, folks that really care about issues, so that we can tell them what's going on. I'm telling you, just as people saw what's actually going on in government through Donald Trump's candidacy, if we can get these true news stories, not the corporate drivel that comes out of the left-leaning liberal Democrat media in Tennessee, which is ubiquitous. We are the last man standing in conservative media in Tennessee, but we need to talk to more than the choir. We need to go out and find new folks. We've got to evangelize with conservatism, and it takes money. Right now, we've got just enough in the bank to keep the lights on and to keep the content out. But if we're going to grow, we have to grow through your generosity. So every dollar that you send us will be well spent. So please do send your donations to TennesseeConservativeNews.com/support. You can give there. If you could become a monthly donor, boy, that would be helpful. And finally, you can mail your checks to P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. That is P.O. Box 625, Signal Mountain, Tennessee 37377. We would love to have you. Satanic Temple prepares launch of Hellion Academy of Independent Learning in Bristol, Tennessee. The Satanic Temple and Reason Alliance has announced a second launch of their Hellion Academy of Independent Learning for middle school students in Bristol, Tennessee. Can you imagine the scum of the earth that would sacrifice their children, and I mean that, to something like this? According to the flyer, Satanic Temple designates itself as a non-theistic religion that views Satan as a literary figure and represents rejecting tyranny and championing the human mind and spirit. Reportedly, the extracurricular program will be offered once a month, classes centered around the 7 fundamental tenets of Satanic Temple, emphasizing garbage. I don't want to read the rest of this. No, don't want to read the rest of it. It's garbage. If you're a conservative in the Tri-City area, you should find out about this, and you should try to get it shut down. It's awful. That's my opinion. Next story, Unicoi and Washington County property owners ambushed with notice of condemnation in wake of hurricane devastation. Nothing like kicking a Tennessean while they're down. 45 property owners along State Route 81-107 in Unicoi in Washington, Tennessee. Counties got a little surprised when they saw their names published in local newspapers related to an action that the Tennessee Department of Transportation announced on October 11th. I hope these folks are contacting their state reps and state senators. If you are a state rep, or a state senator, and you know something about this story and what's being done about it, please contact us. The state filed documents in the Circuit Court of Unicoi, Tennessee, to take property by emergency construction easement. The file notice occurred 15 days after Hurricane Helene devastated Northeast Tennessee. Yeah, give people 15 days notice. Stick it in these newspapers that are dead and dying, and nobody can see the damn thing, and then it's too late. Who does this? The notice of public does not explicitly use the words eminent domain. Instead, it uses the words condemnation and easement. TDOT cited Tennessee Code in the notice, where eminent domain statutes designated for taking property from landowners for transportation projects and to take property from unknown and uncertain title holders, respectively. Landowners impacted by this project are urged to contact David at TennesseeConservativeNews.com. Email David at TennesseeConservativeNews.com with your commentary. That is garbage. Can't believe it's happening. East Tennessee middle school principal denies students use of lockers. Taxpayers are not happy. Several failed attempts have been made recently to enact a second wheel tax in Jefferson County to improve school facilities. Simultaneously, at least one Jefferson County administrator has a policy of denying students the use of lockers. Like, for what reason? This is terrible. My daughter is as big as a stick. Her backpack weighs 1 billion pounds. These kids need somewhere to be able to put their books, if for no other reason than to save their health. What kind of cruel, heartless woman, and I saw her face, she looks like a Karen, would deny kids the use of lockers? It's bad enough they're in government schools. Must make it worse. For most 6th through 12th graders, lockers have long been a staple of school life, making it convenient. However, students at Jefferson Middle School in Jefferson City, Tennessee, are not permitted to use their taxpayer-funded lockers that would make their school experience more pleasant. Why? The Tennessee Conservative reached out to Jefferson Middle School principal Melanie Simpson, a real winner. Concerning the locker use, she confirmed via phone the fact that students are denied use of lockers for, quote, a long list of reasons. She needs to find a job somewhere else. This is one of my big beefs with education. Nobody ever listens to the clients. And you end up with folks like this on the top. She asked if she's going to reverse the policy. She said no. Parents that contacted the Tennessee Conservative News asked to be anonymous. We shall see. No wonder folks in that county are taking their kids out of government schools in record numbers. Last story, schools in Clarksville and Montgomery County follow Wilson County's leads in complying with Tennessee book law. According to reports, Clarksville Montgomery County school systems is following Wilson County's lead in complying and updating the Age Appropriate Materials Act since the beginning of 2022. They have removed 35 books, but now teachers within the district say the school from Wilson County list are nearly 400 titles that were recently removed due to lawmakers voting earlier this year to make adjustment to the new law that made it actually easy to get these out versus going through some large convoluted process. So listen, occasionally all the haranguing and harumphing and the wailing and the gnashing of teeth that happens with our elected officials can have some impact. Guys, I'm still on a massive high after doing this. I didn't have this here the whole time. I don't know what the audio is going to sound like. It's probably a lot louder now. But at any rate, I'm still excited about this Trump victory. It just makes me happy as it can. And I hope that we're able to do something with it. I do think that Trump will actually, unlike many Republican administrations that we have had in the past, will actually make some sort of difference. I think that he knows more, that he has been persecuted, prosecuted, and given the worst shake of any presidential candidate in my lifetime. And I hope that he will come in with guns blazing and do something in the first 2 years. And I also think if you look at examples of him calling folks like Bill Lee a rhino, which is true and deserved, I think that what we're going to see is that Trump will tell folks, you either get on board or I will endorse another candidate. And I'm telling you, I've never seen a president's endorsement carry more weight. And they all know it. And there's nothing a politician fears more than losing. Guys, what am I doing this weekend? Absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing. I'm so tired of doing stuff. I had a great weekend last weekend for my birthday. Just a fantastic celebration with lots of friends. It was enjoyable. But I am ready. Ready, Freddy. I'm ready to be at home and not be so stressed out and not travel so much. We're going to go to church. I may go to the gym, but I'm just going to poke around the house here and take on some projects here at Casa de Lewis that have heretofore gone undone. Brandon Lewis of the Tennessee Conservative News here. I'm sorry if the audio is terrible. I'll have Jason see if it is salvageable. Until next time, thank you for all that you do. Thank you for your contributions. Thank you for your prayers. Thank you for your notes in the mail. Thank you for your comments on social media. Thank you for sharing our stories. We appreciate you, and we could not do it without you. Until next time, it's Brandon Lewis of the 10Con Big 7, bringing you the stories that the mainstream media wish you never knew about. Talk to you next week. See ya.